a place to be vulnerable, open, and yourself. Make sure to join in as we are live as we chat with our guests who are here to share their experiences and wisdom. And this, after all, is content we hope will help you. Without further ado, please welcome your host, Philip Parker.
Hey everybody, this is Phil and another episode of Headspace, Head Noise, whatever you want to call it. We are live on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock if you're in different places, I guess. This week I have an amazing guest. Shanti is a master certified coach, mental health coach, and I'm going to have her kind of describe what she does and everything about her. But first of all, Shanti, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for giving up your time today.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a little bit of a trip. We've done our first episode, got great response. So I'm hoping we can help some more people today. So tell me a little bit about what you do and your story.
Absolutely. I am an award-winning master certified mental health coach. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a speaker. I'm an author of the best-selling book, Quiet is Kept. And what I do is I help people to release trauma and from past stuff, help them get through things. And I use the art of guided journaling. And guided journaling is basically, we figure out what it is that you are holding on to that you need to let go of. I create specific prompts for you to answer. And through that, you're able to, get to the root of the issue. And so you can release and heal from that.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the guided journaling aspect of it, because that's something I haven't come across before, and potentially I don't think anyone else has. So how does that work exactly? Is it just kind of guided questions, or maybe we can do a little bit of an example of it here today? But tell me a little bit more about that.
So that's exactly what it is. Through how I learned about it was through my therapist, because I never heard of it either. I'm like, what the heck is this? But we got to the root of all of my issues. And once she figured out what my issues were, let's see, for example, it was self-esteem, self-awareness, self-love. So those three different topics. Out of all of those three topics, each one has its own specific questions that I would answer, by writing it out. And that allowed me to, get very real, get very raw, and very vulnerable, and sometimes make me cry, make me mad or whatever, but I was able to get it up. And that's the whole point of it too. So, because we have things that's buried for years, and sometimes we forget about it. And those questions are, if they're posed correctly, they will help you get it out and get it on a paper so you can release that.
Okay. So the subject matter of mental health is so broad. I mean, anything can be mental health at this point. We've had social media bullying, we've had depression, we've had last week we talked about narcissism, which comes in all forms. What in your experience, what are you seeing the most of? Being, I guess, the issues that seem to be prevalent right now when you're dealing with your clients and stuff. Obviously, data protection and everything plays a part, but just subject matter, like what do you see the most of right now?
Lately, what I have been seeing the most of is individuals who are stuck in a season and not knowing how to get out of it. And when I say stuck, like stuck at jobs, being complacent at jobs they're not happy in, or being stuck in relationships they're not happy in and don't know how to move forward, or stuck in the past, stuck on something that happened when they were a kid and are still acting out, stuck, you name it, somebody's stuck in it. And that's what I see a lot of. But you mentioned social media bullying. That is real. That is very, very real.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is.
And a lot of it is down to our dependence on technology. I mean, I myself catch myself scrolling all night sometimes. whether it's YouTube or Facebook or whatever the social media outlet is, I find myself scrolling because the reels are addictive, or it's so non-committal. You can have a reel over in 30 seconds. But the bigger aspect of that is, you know, you have followers and you have comments on stuff. You post, but you don't get enough hearts, or you don't get enough likes, or whatever. And it can get almost overwhelming with some of the stuff. Even me myself, you know, since starting the podcast, I was just consumed with this desire to make sure everyone got as many views and all this kind of stuff. But the reality is that when I stepped away from that mindset, it made it more fun. I connected with more people. The content was more authentic. So it's a big deal. Like this social media thing is a huge issue for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
When we were chatting, you mentioned some of the details that you gave me, and I'm cheating here because I have notes.
That's all right.
You're a survivor and a guide. Basically, you were on a healing journey. You had a breakdown in 2018, led to a diagnosis of severe depression and anxiety. Instead of medication, you turned to guided journaling. Me, myself, I suffer from depression. And I'm not going to lie to you, I use medication, and it's actually dug me out of the hole that I was in. But tell me a little bit about the struggle. I mean, depression and anxiety are often separated as issues, but they're very closely related.
Yes.
Tell me about your experience with that, and just so we can unpack some of that stuff for our watchers or listeners today.
Yeah, back in 2018, I woke up like on a regular day, but on that particular day, I wasn't feeling good. You know, emotionally, I didn't know what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And as each day passed, it got worse and worse and worse. And then I started acting out negatively. Like I would be crying, I would be, you know, sad, withdrawn, mad, you know, cussing everybody out. I was doing the most. And it took about a month for me to realize, okay, something ain't right.
Yeah.
A funk doesn't last that long. So I ended up going to my primary care doctor, and she was like, oh, it sounds like you're a little depressed. Let me give you, you know, medication. And, you know, initially I did take it, and I'm not against medication.
No, of course not. Yeah.
If
I think the goal is for people not to take medication and to be less dependent on it.
Yes, that's that part. Be less dependent on it. But when I took it, for me, it didn't work at all. It was like I was eating candy or something. It did not help. And then, you know, when I came back and told her, hey, this ain't working, she was like, well, I think you need to go see, you know, a psychiatrist. And, you know, that stuff is stigmatized in, you know, the African American community. You know, I ain't know nobody that looked like me who went to a psychiatrist. So I was refusing at first, but I was getting worse. You know, I was feeling worse, but I still had to be, you know, a mom, an employee, a wife, somebody else's therapist, you know, a sister, a daughter. I had to be all these things, but I was still not feeling well. So, you know, I went ahead and went, and the psychiatrist that I saw, you know, told me, okay, you have severe anxiety and depression, you know, after her, you know, consultation. And she wanted to give me antidepressants. And I was like, okay, no, I don't want that, you know, because I had to think about it. I didn't want to be, you know, caught in that where, you know, I'm on medication the rest of my life for my, you know, I wanted to get to the root of the issue, to see what's going on and, you know, deal with it basically. And a lot of things, you know, through guided journaling, a lot of things came up that I had no clue was even trauma until I started writing about it.
I'm really intrigued with this guided journaling thing. It's so different because I've never heard of it before. And when it comes to like depression and anxiety, nobody ever thinks, hey, let's write stuff down. You know, like that's the last thing that comes to your head. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of it is fear. A lot of it is running away from whatever they think is the issue.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about people that are stuck, you know, being completely transparent. I've just separated from my wife. A lot of it's down to depression and things that was going on. I was it myself for a long time. And the effort that was made was too little too late. And you know, it's that situation that I've discovered a lot of people find themselves in, and COVID really just amplified that. It turned all of those relationships that weren't strong, they became more fragmented because the healthy communication didn't exist, and the cracks in the relationship just became more visible. And honestly, you know, the depression side of it for me, not that it's an excuse in any way, shape, or form, but it just, you're right. You know, you wake up, you don't have that enthusiasm. It's not that you don't want to. It's that it's like, hey, well, nah, I'm good. You know, it's and I think a lot of the stigma in depression and anxiety is because people really just don't understand it. It's not like a cut on your leg where it heals. It's visible. It's it's more invisible, and you can't tell when someone's well. Like, which in all honesty is part and parcel of why there's so many films and movies and things like that about these people who, I mean, look at all the tragedy that we've had happen, like people who go on mass shootings. Like this is obviously a extreme version, but it's what happens. It's when people don't go unnoticed, or when they do go unnoticed. It's like it's and people undervalue friendships and physical connection, and like I said, like COVID was a huge impact on that. Even now, as a manager, like it's people don't know how to socially interact anymore. Like you have people coming in for interviews for jobs, and they don't know how to dress. They don't know how to like present themselves. Basic skills that we've learned through life have been forgotten in a couple of years. Like, let's call it what it is. But yeah, no, the communication is just it just doesn't exist, and it's a huge issue. But the anxiety has just become more of an issue because of the skill set that has been lost, because communication is such a huge part of society. Like, I mean, it's as simple as not having the gumption to go and talk to a woman at a bar. Now we're just sitting here like gods, swiping left and right. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, wait, right, because you know, like you'd have it like this. They don't have a say in the whole situation. You know what I mean?
The nerve.
But getting back on track, not talking about our love lives. So tell me about this journaling. I'm really, really interested, and I really want people to kind of find this skill and hopefully reach out to you if they can.
Please do.
We'll definitely share all those things at the end of the show. We have a Jemmy saying hi.
Hi.
Hey, Jemmy. Thank you for signing in. Appreciate you. If you have any questions, Jemmy, make sure you don't be afraid to participate. Also, if I didn't already say this, unscriptedproductionstudio@gmail.com or that 503-862-9972. If you don't have social media, or you don't want to comment, or you're just watching on a device that doesn't have a login or whatever, you can also communicate through those means, and we'll answer your questions. We'll do our best. And if there's subjects that you want to bring up, of course, she is an expert. She's a master certified. She's this is why we do this. Why aren't we talking about relationships?
Well, now.
Well, we can talk about relationships, Jemmy. What do we want to talk about? So, legitimately, this is part of the recovery process. Relationships are what caused the fractures, so to speak. Our inability to communicate, our inability to identify the issues, or fix the issues. Now, I'm not just saying, hey, let's everyone break up with their significant other because it's not working out. Mental health is not just about the bad stuff. Mental health is about also building yourself up to have those skills to recover from this. It's not like I've undersold the need for people to find the repair strategy, because it's not just about finding your own feet again. It's about also having those tools to continue down that road and fix the issues that have come up, knowing how to deal with them.
Exactly.
It's not gonna make all the stuff that's happened to you go away. It's gonna give you the tools to deal with it in a more productive and healthy way.
Yes.
So this journaling sounds like a really great tool. It's not something that you're gonna just take the tool and it's like, look, I have a bunch of kitchen utensils in there and I know how to use them, but do I make the best food? Probably not. There's a lot of arguments for and against that. So, Shanti, tell me a little bit more about the journaling and tell me like the process. Just give me the start to finish process, how we go down that road. And let's talk about relationships, for example, just because Jemmy's brought it up. If we were going to go and attack this specific subject, how would we go about that?
Well, yeah, you are were absolutely correct when you said that, most fractures in our mental health they don't come out of nowhere. They're caused by relationships we're in or the ones we wish we had. So,
Yes.
and relationships are, not excluding parents, partners, friendships, or even with our kids, that emotional weight of love, disappointment, betrayal, neglect, abandonment, that could break us down in quiet ways that we probably don't even recognize. And people who can identify with, what others are going through in that area, they love to say just heal, like it's easy. Like it's a snap of a finger and it's not. But
Yeah.
but they don't want to admit that healing means addressing the relationships that made you feel
Yeah, it's always the part we don't like,
Yeah, of
we
course.
can see the house is untidy, but addressing it's a whole different problem, you know what I mean?
I want to hire somebody to come in, but
I just want to turn a switch and make it happen, you know what I mean?
I wish. And it's so funny that you mentioned that because I'm going through a similar situation as you. So, yeah.
Okay.
You're not alone. That's why I was like, I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm going through it too. But you can journal about it, and in journaling, you could set boundaries. But the fact of the matter is that you have to tell the truth. Either that relationship wounded you, and then you don't have to keep reliving the same pain to prove that you are strong. So if someone came to me with issues in that department, then I would, first assess them and, what's going on. I have an assessment, they'll answer it. And then from that, I will build the journal prompts for them. And,
I see. So they're not, Jenny.
No, they're not.
They're not generic. They are specific.
No, they are specific.
And I think that's what Jemmy was maybe hoping for. Jemmy, is that right? It's one of those situations where, and this is why Shanti, you do what you do. These prompts have to specifically identify with your issues. Yes. They can't just be like blanket stuff. And you see a lot of those books, and I'm not going to discount any of the stuff that you can purchase. There's so many different books. There's enough literature out there that something's going to get it right? So, but what I will say to you is what Jemmy does, what Jemmy is looking for is basically what you do, Shanti. You're literally just going, hey, let's talk to you specifically.
Yes.
I don't like all these other people. They might read a book and get what they need, but I want to identify your issues. What about relationships make you cringe? What is it that you're suffering from the most? Is it because you can't find anyone? Is it that the people that you find or that you're attracted to are the wrong type of people for you? And these are big questions, Jemmy. Not specifically like pointing at you either. Poor Jemmy's the subject matter here. No, but legitimately, it's a big step for people to really open that open the chest, so to speak. It's like, you know,
once
you empty that can of worms on the table, you got to address them. You know what I mean?
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
So, like the type of questions, for example, that we would start asking. Awesome, thank you, Jemmy. So the type of questions that we would generally be asking someone like that would be, what is it like? What brings you to this emotion? Why do you feel like you can't? The relationships are destructive, or are you more personal and direct with that? Are you going back to childhood? What are we doing?
Absolutely, we're going back to childhood. We're going to go back to childhood. We're going to explore patterns that they've either tolerated or repeated. And then, I would invite them to reflect on their emotional safety and their needs. And then I would encourage, healing, closure, or boundaries. It's
Wow.
I dig deep.
You dig deep. Get the shovel. Get the shovel. We're going in deep. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel a timer is necessary?
It depends on the person, because when someone hears the word journaling, they think, oh, you have to write 8 hours a day, and that is not true. You can write in as little as 5 minutes per day. It's actually
a really good question, Jemmy. Thank you for that. And do you mean timer for the journaling, Jemmy, or do you mean timer?
That's what I was assuming she was asking.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was what it was too. If it's not, Jemmy, comment away. That's what we're here for. It's a two-way conversation at this point. Yeah, look, it's one of those things, Shanti, that everyone has their issues. Everyone has this stuff. We're really going down this relationship path now because Jemmy has set us down this lovely road.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jemmy. So my whole process with relationships now is very I have to, because of the past, I can't let my past control my future. Okay.
Exactly.
It's very intentional. Now I might get hurt. There's a huge possibility I might get hurt. The risks out there are huge. Of course they are. But you also have to, you owe it to yourself to be in it to win it. It's like playing the lottery, right? You gotta be all in or it doesn't matter.
Exactly. You were right on time, Jimmy.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, it's okay. We were afraid to talk about relationships, but now we're really going into it. But like the biggest thing is, for me, like I said, you have to be intentional. And you hear this a lot on dating profiles now. I'm looking for someone who's intentional. That's it's you have to be you have to be 100% be here now. It's one of those things that I did when I was in corporate business. It was a course, be here now. You have to be present. You have to give yourself all of it to the relationship, to give yourself a chance. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that means getting hurt. It really does.
It does.
But I find myself leaning in a lot more. At the end of the day, whoever it is I might be talking to, they have to know all of me. Otherwise, it's going to be a really shitty surprise for them. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy's amazing. Oh, wait, what? What does that? Nah. I'm curious if it may be beneficial to time ourselves to not go too deep. Oh,
Absolutely.
I see.
Especially when you are just starting out, I do recommend like a 2, 3, 5 minute timer. And when that timer goes off, you stop, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. Because if you go too deep on the very first try, you're not going to come back to it. You were like, fuck this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
Yes, at a
yeah,
time.
yeah. The
Yeah.
pages are all wet from
Yes.
tears, and you're
Yes.
just like, I can't
Yes.
believe I did this to myself.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
Nobody wants to do that. Yeah, it's just like I don't like getting needles. Needles really scare the crap out of me. Like it's such a childhood
Mm.
fear, and it's like I see a needle and I'm like, nah. Same thing with this. When we're afraid to kind of talk about our truths, it's a knee-jerk reaction to just pull away. It's a pull away when people have been hurt before. It's the same thing. Your instinctive reaction, and it may not even be a conscious reaction. Um, it's so destructive because it's destructive for you because you're pulling away from something that might actually be really good, but also it's destructive for the other person because now they're just like you're losing on all fronts. It's like it just doesn't play. Hopefully that made sense. I'm reading
Perfect.
comments as I'm sitting here. Yes, Jemmy, I have.
I want to see him. I love tattoos.
So moving on. I love what you do. It's an amazing
Thank you. I
concept. The
appreciate it.
journaling aspect of it is huge. It's something I've never seen before. I've heard of it. I've actually heard of it before. It's like using your diary. It's why diary writing is so huge. But like your background, I'm just going to go back to your background here and use my notes. You had severe depression and anxiety.
Mhm.
And instead of medication, you turned to guided journaling, inner child work, and self-reflection to heal the roots of your pain.
Yeah.
So the inner child work is what we're talking about as well. You kind of went back to the roots and examined what you did as a kid. What did that look like for you?
I hated it. I hated it, but it was very necessary. Through therapy. Of course they start you off. Tell me about your childhood. What kind of childhood? And I'm talking regular. Saying everything that happened. Things I can remember. And then she would come back and be like, "Okay, that's trauma. That's trauma. That's well, shit. I'm thinking I had a great childhood, and you telling me my childhood was traumatic." But then she told me how. She showed me like, okay, this wasn't normal. So I learned that I was a victim of child abuse. I learned that I was a sexual assault victim. I had
Wow.
I had my first child when I was 14. I didn't know that was traumatic. Exactly. I mean, looking back,
Wow.
hell yeah, that was traumatic. But during that time, I didn't think anything was wrong with it.
Yeah.
And the child abuse, I'm thinking, okay, I did something wrong. I got my ass whooped. I thought that was normal. But no, that's it's okay. Discipline is one thing, but what you're describing, that's child abuse. And she's like, no, you're not supposed to be in the 8th grade pregnant. Well, shit, me, I wasn't the only one. It was me and a whole bunch of other people. So thought it was normal. So things like that. We
And
had
what kind of drove that inner child work? Obviously, you're going to ask yourself poignant questions, but you went to a therapist, I'm assuming.
Yeah, initially, yeah, I did.
And so, like, what was that journey like? Were they just asking you very poignant questions, or was it a kind of a version of what this inner this journaling looked like for what you do right now?
Well, I had to, talk to her so she can help me identify the things that that I needed to heal from. Apparently, I didn't think anything was wrong, but
Nobody ever does, right? It's
right.
like, well, yeah, you used to throw a bottle at me. Well, there you go. That's not one thing, and you're just like, what? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's eye-opening when you realize the standards are. Thank you, Jemmy. That's awesome. You're 100% right, Shanti. That resilience is shining so brightly.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's a big deal. And I you've really set the bar. Not everyone's going to be able to do what you did. But
No, they're not.
Some people have more dependence on medication, and we're not trying to say that.
No.
Yeah, some people like. This isn't a win or lose situation.
No,
This
it
is
is not.
all this is right now for you guys that are watching, for anyone that's interested, is really trying to give you more tools. That's what
Exactly.
this is.
Right.
Shanti managed to go through the struggle and the depression and the anxiety and everything, and she found her tools that really helped her, and she's
Exactly.
sharing those tools with us. And
Mhm.
so I don't want anyone to be like, oh my gosh, you're I'll never be able to do that. I can't go without my pills. I can't do this on
And
my
that's
own.
fine.
It's
That's
got
totally
nothing to do with
fine.
that at all.
Right.
This journaling is huge. I'm myself, Shanti, I might reach out to you after this, just
Please.
because here's the thing.
Mhm.
Anything that can help you down that path, anything that can set you down a journey that you might find yourself again. Because truthfully, when you're in a funk, you really lose what your identity
Yes.
is.
Exactly.
You lose that sense of being. You find yourself just kind of floating. It's not anything with intent. It's not anything with um, gumption. Like there's nothing gets you up out of the bed in the morning with as much enthusiasm. You do it because you have to, not because you want to.
Exactly.
It's a whole different look on it.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
I think rebuilding, like you did, rebuilding your self-worth through journaling and emotional work. You speak about the messy middle. Tell me about the messy middle.
That's the part nobody want to deal with because it is messy. Because that's the part where you have to really, let your guard down with yourself and be
Yeah.
honest with yourself. This involves nobody else. This is you and you. You know, you portray, like, for me, I'll use myself as an example. Before I started my healing journey, I used to pride myself on being a bitch. I would cuss you out in a minute. Didn't care who you was. And I was so stoic. I didn't show any emotion. And I had this attitude like, don't mess with me. And I thought that's who I was. But once I started going through my journey, that is not who I was. That was a
Right.
mask. That was me pretending, guarding myself, protecting myself. And now, shoo, going through that messy part, it turns you into a crybaby. I'm just gonna tell you, it
Yeah.
does. It's ugly. I don't like it, but I recommend it because
Yeah,
it's
Jimmy,
very
you're 100% right. You have to accept, and then you realize it's trauma,
yeah.
100%. And it's you don't like this is an eye-opening journey for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
For like therapists are the unsung heroes in a lot of the stories here because
Yeah.
legitimately, I don't know about you, but I hate like when I see someone cry. It's just I'm a guy, like there's no tools. I don't know. A hug. That's about all you're getting, and a pep talk. You know what I mean? But like it's so eye opening to see that the work that you can do. You do find that some stuff is trauma that you may have thought was
Yeah.
normal, and that's
Exactly.
again, this isn't a knock on people's childhood.
No, not at all.
Everyone's childhood is so different.
Yes, never
I
black
grew
and
up in Ireland. You could
white.
probably pick out 15 different things there that might be considered trauma or not trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's everyone has grown up differently. If you went back 50 years and started having this conversation, with the knowledge that you have now, you'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you even do that!" Like, it's just bonkers. But we're talking about today, and realistically, the fragility of people's mental health today is so huge because, like I said in the beginning of this, the lack of ability to communicate, the anxiety that we have is so heightened because we don't have confidence in our communication skills, and we don't know how to unpack. There's nothing to unpack. Suicide and all this stuff is huge. It's
Yes,
absolutely massive,
it
and
is.
a lot of it's down to communicating to people that something's not right, but also having the courage and the resilience that you've shown,
Mhm.
to really just take that first step. The scary statistic is, most suicides happen as you're coming out of depression,
Mhm.
and so like this stuff is huge. And I understand this is a very deep topic, but we didn't say this was a fluffy show. We
Right?
were talking about mental health.
Right? The good, the bad, and the
Good, bad, and the ugly. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what we should have called it. But honestly, the amount of work that goes into mental health is huge, and this isn't people just want a quick click of a switch and everything's better, and it's just not.
It's
It doesn't. It
not in
doesn't
mental health.
work. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't
Nope.
work that way.
Mm-mm.
Jemmy, you're 100% right. You got to dive in. You got to
Got
really
to.
just open the doors and let it all out. And even myself, like the tears have flowed many nights where it's like being 100% transparent. I've lost my job. It's financially everything's kind of up in a heap, but you have to stay strong. Yeah, I'm still a dad. I still got to work hard at making sure that they can't see that it's traumatic. They have to see that daddy is the answer. And so for me, it's always about being strong for my kids. It's about moving forward. And you know what? I'm happy to say that the goodwill of others has shown me that there's faith to be had in humanity. It's what it's all about. It's like rent is paid this month again. How did I do it? God only knows, but it happened. You know what I'm saying? So all this trauma, I always say control your controllables, right? There's certain things you can't control, but you can control your actions. You can control your how you deal with it. And so for anyone that's struggling, really and truthfully, the first step is yours. I hate to steal a line from a movie, but
steal it because it's true.
I hate to steal it, but here we go. Anyone that's a fan of The Matrix, here we go.
I love it.
I can only show you the door. You have to walk through it. And so realistically, that's what we're talking about here. This is what this platform, this whole idea for this podcast was showing someone the door, giving them the tools or the opportunity to reach out to someone who is a professional, who can help them. I am not a professional in any way, shape, or form. I am just a podcast host. I have a life coach certification, but like that's literally it for me, right? I'm bringing people.
Professional, don't do that. Don't.
I'm bringing people like Shanti and last week's guest, on because I know the value that they bring to the table, because finding people that resonate with you is so difficult.
Yes.
I went to therapy, and I'm telling you, I went through 4 therapists before I found someone that actually resonated with me. And that's a huge thing. You got to resonate with people. If you don't resonate with the therapist, to be honest with you, it should be like talking to a friend. And that's kind of what life coaching is and everything. It's just kind of, it's not scientific. It's about, that's why friendships are so valuable. Roxanne, who is normally a guest here, couldn't make it tonight. She is a really dear friend of mine, right? And I'm just going to tell you right now, without her, this wouldn't have existed. This is the push from her. The push from her, like, it's like, hey, when are we going to do this? Hey, when are we going to do this? I wanted to do it. I did. But like the amount of stuff, like I said, been through separation, all that kind of stuff. But now it's happening, and I couldn't be happier. Like having Shanti here to talk about whatever is ailing the masses is huge, and showing the tools as well is a big deal. So now we've kind of basked in your amazingness, Shanti. I want to get back to the messy middle conversation that we were having. You talked about the messy middle, the numbness, the self-doubt, the guilt of wanting to go back to someone who hurt you. Now, that's a big one for me, because a lot of people get trapped in these relationships. Sorry, Jamie, I'm back in relationships again. A lot of people get trapped in these relationships because their self-worth is, it's like you just you get caught up thinking that whatever is said to you is reality. It's not necessarily reality. Like this person has psychologically abused you in a way that you think that you're not worth anything else. So you go back to that person thinking, hey, I guess this is it for me. I'm going to be driving a I'm going to be driving a Chevy. I guess that's what I got to put up with. Like that's not that's kind of what we're talking about. But Shanti, tell me about your story, because this is your spotlight right now. You're my expert. So go ahead.
What are we talking about?
Talking about relationships again. What do you mean? What are we talking about?
I know. Okay, so sometimes the heart wants to go back to the very person who hurt
Hey,
it.
Virgil, how's it going?
Hey, Virgil. And that's not because we're weak. It's not because we forgot what they did. That's because our nervous system got used to the chaos.
Yes.
So when you're in peace, that peace feels unfamiliar. So, those moments of laughter, those I miss you texts, the comfort of being in a routine
Yes.
speak
Yes.
louder than whatever the disrespect was. And
Yeah.
and being alone is heavy. And loneliness has a way of rewriting history, like the pain. What it wasn't that bad. I can go back. But
Yeah.
wanting to go back is human. That's just you being human. We're human, right?
Right.
But the healing requires you to remember why you left, and to know that you can miss someone and still choose yourself. And you can love someone and still know that they're not safe for you. And you can grieve the good without inviting back the harm.
Yes. Yes. You
Yeah.
know what? It's I love all those phrases that you just used. Grieving the good and not let back the harm. I think that's the biggest piece. Is people don't know that it doesn't have to be the bad. It doesn't have to be. It's
Right.
okay to miss the person, but you also got to love yourself. You got to do it for yourself.
Yes, and you have to choose you.
You
All
got to
the
choose
time.
you every day.
Yes, you have to
And
choose
and
you.
and that might suck. It might suck short term. It's just
Yeah,
how that is. Like the best decisions in life are never the easy ones to make.
exactly.
So it's one of those things that we gotta allow ourselves to feel grief. It's okay to miss the text, the
It
love,
is.
the affection, the things that were conditioning us to want it again. But then also acknowledge that that came with my my mom, who's suffering from Alzheimer's right now. So
Mhm.
it's one of those things that the subject. If I was talking to you, Shanti, that's
Mhm.
we'd be going in deep right now. But one of the things she did when it comes to relationships, she told me, write out a list why you want to be with them and why you wouldn't want to be with them.
Yes.
If the list that you don't want to be with them, if that list is longer than the one that you do want to be, then you already know that's what the problem.
Exactly.
So
That's
it's
on point. That's on point.
I'm like, she said that to me when I was I think I was 18 at the time, and it's lived with me because you know what, it's actually it's pretty accurate, a
It's
lot of the time.
very accurate. Don't downplay what Mama told you. It is
No,
very
no, no.
accurate.
It's very useful information.
Yes,
Um, but yeah, I mean, you're right, 100%. It's one of those things. Relationships are always going to be the ones that are the hardest because they're not you. They're an outside influence. They're dang, I need to adopt. Oh, Jamie. So um, so the biggest thing for me right now as well is you've just gone through the whole thing. You have a book. Tell me about your book, because we're
ooh,
really we're flying through stuff here, and I don't want I want to make sure that you've been just pimped out as much as possible, because
yes,
Shanti,
pimp
you're
me out, honey.
amazing.
Pimp me
You're
out.
amazing. We love you. We're
Thank
we're we're
you.
already in love with you. You're awesome.
Thank
So tell me
you.
about your book first of all, because um, it is, as you described it in your message to me, a raw but redemptive story. So tell me about your book.
Yep. The name of my book is Quiet as Kept, and it is based on my journey. And I start from childhood. I talk about everything from childhood up until the point I had the nervous breakdown, which was 7 years ago, I think. And I talk about how I overcame it, and and it wasn't easy. But I also talk about how the person reading whatever they're going through, how they can get over it, get through it, not over, get through it as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very raw. I talk about it all. I don't censor myself. I say it, I name it. It's raw. It's as raw as I can get. And I go back and read it and I'm like, damn, I should have said more here, but no. It's really a good book. It is. And
It's I will definitely I'll admit I didn't have the time to read it, but you've inspired me to pick it up. So
pick it up.
I will be definitely going to pick that up. And
Appreciate it.
just you also have a website. I'm going to put that on the screen right now. www.shantirefuge.com. All your contact details are there, I'm assuming.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
And is there a link to buy your book there? Because if there isn't, we need to have
Yes.
a conversation with your marketing person because we need to.
Absolutely is. I didn't get my book. Yes. There's a link to purchase.
Jemmy, yes, that is some serious strength, 100%. And
Thank you.
it's a big. It's again, these podcasts aren't just. They're not going to be 60 minutes of healing. It's 60 minutes of just addressing issues, having the opportunity to ask questions, having the opportunity to talk to people who are professionals, and quite honestly, not having to spend the money that comes attached with that.
That
part right there. That part right there. And just hearing about these tools, the journaling is just blown my mind right now. I'm just telling you right now. The journaling is huge. And I think reaching out to Shanti is a huge step toward recovery for people. So it could work. 60 minutes of knowledge drops. Yes, they are 60 minutes of knowledge drops, 100%. And we're not going to fit. It's not going to be a light switch. Shanti's not on here saying that she's going to fix you in
absolutely
an X amount of time.
That's not what I'm here for. I don't fix anybody.
No, you don't need fixing.
Because ain't nothing wrong with you.
It's like it's teaching. What do they say? Teaching a man how to fish. It's like, we just got to find the tools. We got to find the opportunities that we can to basically stand on our own 2 feet again and be healthy, mentally speaking.
Absolutely, yes.
A lot of that as well, I hate to say it, is also about being healthy physically. So not picking anyone out there, but just saying, I'm not. So that's a huge part of my problem. As I drink my energy drink. Anyway, the other side of this, I have to say, is the depression side for me was always something I struggled with. My ex-wife basically would always say, "Oh, you need to see someone. You need to see someone," and I just didn't. I was like, "Nah, I'm fine." And a lot of it is from growing up. It's from
that's where it starts.
Like, suck it up, suck it up. Jemmy, you're awesome. Thank you. How to navigate out of the tunnel. That's it. Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel. And Shanti and guests before you and coming will be the resources for someone who identifies with what you're doing. And I think being a master certified mental health coach, you've really committed yourself to the cause, and we really appreciate that. There's not enough people out there like you, and I hope someone picks up the book and gets something out of that. But the guilt and the wanting to go back to someone was a huge thing for a lot of people. I hear it all the time. It's hurt is hurt, it's but like you said, it's like weighing up the pros and cons. I mean, it burned, but felt good for a little bit, like it's just, you got to find your worth. You got to realize that you're worth more.
Yes, so much more.
You really got to see that you are someone that brings something to the table as well, and
Exactly.
really finding that strength. A lot of people
Yeah.
go from relationship to relationship. A lot of people go like just trying to find, just afraid of being alone. And you know what? That can be scary. Being alone is scary.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
that's it, Jemmy. Most people aren't okay with being alone with themselves. But
Yeah.
being
And
alone with
that's the problem.
yourself, being alone with yourself is part of the healing process.
Yes, absolutely, it is.
It's the grieving. It's the
Yeah,
realizing that, oh man, like maybe I wasn't this person. Maybe I didn't do this. Maybe I do need to focus on such and such.
exactly.
And you know what? It's okay to not be okay. It's the
It's
slogan
very
of
important.
COVID. I'm not even joking. It's like I've seen it everywhere at this point. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to break down in tears. It's okay to be weak. It's okay to show your emotion.
Okay. Yes.
My another nugget from my mom is that she always said the strongest person in the room isn't the one that that isn't crying. It's the person that's emotionally available and showing their sadness by crying. You don't have to be strong for anybody.
Absolutely.
Nobody. You don't need to prove anything to anybody.
Absolutely
You
not.
can be yourself. You can be weak. You can be the person you want to be. You can just find the people that you feel comfortable being that with. That's literally what it is. And those people, keep them around you, because that's a healthy relationship. That's a friendship that you don't want to let go of. That's a person you don't want to let go of. Truthfully, um, and I'm grateful to say I have friends like that in my life. So it's one of those things where if you have the ability to be honest with yourself and be open, um, yeah, exactly. Then there's getting comfortable with being too distant. 100%. There's too many people out there that are like that because they've conditioned themselves to just put that wall up.
Yep.
It's a knee jerk reaction to just nah. The other thing that really gets me is the pessimism. Oh,
Mm.
it's gonna go bad. It always does. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, you know
That
what? He's a great guy, but
mindset.
you know what? He's gonna go bad. I don't know why I put the accent on, but it added to it, I think. It's you gotta start believing that there are good people,
Yeah.
and be fair. Be fair to yourself and be fair to the people that are trying. You want to be loved. You got to open yourself to it. You got to allow yourself to be connected with. You got to show the good, bad, and the ugly, as we said earlier.
Yep.
And sometimes that's a scary thought because rejection is a thing and it can hurt. But
Absolutely.
do you want them to know you for the person that you're pretending to be, or do you want them to know you for who you are?
Right. Because you can only pretend for so long.
Like first dates are great, but come on, we've all done it. Like, oh yeah, I'm an astronaut. I work for NASA. I just came back from the moon, actually. No, that's not how that works. I try, but after years of healing, I'm struggling with keeping in contact with even friends. So, Jemmy, I'm gonna allow Shanti to take the lead on this one, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it as well. Go ahead.
Let's see. I'm reading her comment. Let's see. Then there's getting comfortable with being too distant. Ah, okay. Let's see. So that's real. And I want you to hear me clearly. You're not broken, you're just tired. And healing costs energy. And deep emotional work can make you crave stillness and not stimulation. And sometimes after spending years on fixing what other people, may have broken in you, even small talk feels like a full-time job. So, you might be in a season where your soul is just craving solitude. And not because you don't care about your friends, but because your nervous system finally feels safe enough to rest, where you don't have to perform, not pretend, not people please, but just be. So it doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you're learning to exist without the noise, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're okay. The phone works both ways too. Remember that. So are your friends contacting you? You have to ask yourself that. Or are they waiting for you to contact them? Or, when we are in our healing process, people who are our friends back then can't stay with us when we're going through our journey. They
Yeah,
are
100%.
seasonal. you know, they're gonna fall off, and that's okay. It's just, you know, you drop off the old stuff so you can make room for the new.
100%. You trim the fat. It's
Yes.
trim the fat. It's here's the thing. Here's the thing, Jemmy. The biggest thing I got from that comment, I tried, but after years of healing, I'm struggling with keeping in contact with friends. Why is it on you?
Exactly. That's what I said. Phone work both ways.
Why are you putting it on yourself that you have to keep contact? When was the last time you got a text message? When was the last time you got a phone call? When did they ever check in on you?
Exactly.
Like, so here you really find out who your friends are when the
Yes.
chips are down.
Absolutely.
And you know what, Jemmy, honest to God, you might have discovered that the people in your life are just not genuine. They're not authentic. They're not real to who they are. They're there for the good stuff and not there for the bad stuff. And you know, that's okay. That's scary, but that's okay. That just means that they're not true friends. In life, sometimes we only get a handful of people that are like that for us. In my life, I have, again, 5 or 6 people that I can honestly say are there for me. And then you have some really just superstars that come out of nowhere and just like blow you away. Just blow you away. Like, boom. Like, where did you come from? How did that happen? I didn't even think you were my friend. And that's what's happened to me in the past 3 months. You know what? Your friends are, yes. Yes, Jemmy. Your friends are people who you can depend on no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, and I say this as a joke, relationships and friendship, you know, but it's true. You can't be in love with someone and have a healthy relationship if you're not friends with them first.
Absolutely.
There has to be because, you know, I mean, there's only so much time. I mean, I'm sure there's many people that would try to disprove my theory, but there's only so much time you could spend in the bedroom where the magic happens. You have to also coexist. You have to be able to do things together, complement each other, be around each other on a consistent basis. Somebody that, okay, here's a good barometer. If we were having COVID today, who do you want to be with you for that whole time? God damn, now that's opening a can of worms. But I'm just saying, like, you know, if you, yes, there's a difference between loving and being in love. Yes, 100%. I've heard that before. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Yes, 100%.
I've had to say that, so yes.
Yes, it's not, again, the in love part takes 2 people.
Yes.
It takes 2 people. You know, like, you know, when you're in love with your significant other, you're getting that reciprocated. If you're not getting it reciprocated, then you're going to lose that because it can only flow one way for so long. You know, it can only flow so many times. Like, eventually you're going to run out. It's just going to empty. You're going to run on empty, and then you're just going to have nothing to give. And they might turn around and turn it around. In fact, honestly, I think that's part of what happened with my relationship is that there was, you know, you got to own it. You got to own it. Like, and for me, I think there was just not enough on the receiving end, and things just fell apart. Communication was terrible, etc. I'm not here to talk about my situation, but that's what happens in relationships all over the place. One-way traffic doesn't work. You got to have it coming both ways. And if you're not getting reciprocated to, yeah, you can love someone. You can be in love with them as well, but it's unrequited.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a whole music industry based off of this subject. So come on. I'm just saying. But you know, even though you don't believe you do, Jemmy, I know that you just posted this. Even though you believe that you don't have anyone, you'll find that person quickly.
Yeah,
you just got to be open to it. You got to be open to it.
Open and ready to receive.
You're not going to find that person just by clicking an app. You got to invest some time. You got to be open. Yeah. You got to have the ability to be open and honest with people.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of vulnerability. But before you get in a relationship, do the work.
Do the work and don't settle.
Do
Don't
the
ever
work.
settle.
Do the work on yourself. You don't need to be. You know what? If you got to be able to exist before you can coexist.
Ooh, say that again. I'm still in that. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's straight out of the locker right there.
Wow.
Well, Shanti,
Yes.
it's coming up to that hour now, and
That was fast.
it was. I think
I'm
I'm
the
hella
same way,
open.
Jimmy.
I just prefer space.
I'm the
to
same way.
decompress.
It's like I love you, but get out my face. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm the
yes,
same way.
Yes. Yes, that is a thing. Space to decompress is space to decompress. A lot of it is being able to kind of, and again, in a relationship, this is something that happens all the time, is the other person wants to fix it. I'm one of those. I'm putting my hands
Me
up.
too.
I want to fix it now. Fix it now. Don't walk
Not
away from me.
now, but I want to.
But
fix it. I
then
wanna
you
fix
might
it.
be the person that needs time. You need to process what just happened. You need to process all the dialogue. Then you need to find your space and really just decompress from everything, and then come back with an answer, come back with an argument, or come back with whatever your response is. That's healthy. It's not always available, but it's healthy. And so, like, legitimately, I encourage anyone that's in that position to really just have a bit of grace. That's all I say. Have a bit of grace. Have grace with yourself.
Yes.
Allow yourself to have those mistakes. It's not going to be a transformation in day one. Day one, you're not going to be able to just be this superhuman person that can ignore all the red flags that are coming up, even though there may not be warranted red flags. They might be just PTSD from relationships that you've hurt before. That's what anxiety is. That's what we're talking about today. But I encourage you to give yourself some grace and allow yourself to make those connections and see what happens. But before you do any relationship stuff, exist before you coexist.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
You can exist. If you can't exist, you ain't going to coexist, because that's dependable. That's a whole different kind of trauma.
That's codependency. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Codependency. Oh, good Lord. That's a whole nother episode. Do you have 4 more hours?
Ooh, baby, bring me back so we can talk about that.
Yes. Shanti, I would be happy to have you back again. I know for a fact that Roxanne will want to have you back again. So we'll definitely do that.
Sure, I'm here.
Stay in contact. We'll definitely come back next time. Maybe in the meantime, maybe I'll try and get some literature that might be really popular on your website. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, might read your book a little bit.
Yes.
I didn't.
Today. You don't want to put it down.
Yes. So, Shanti.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're
amazing. I love you and what you do, and I hope and pray that you've connected with people like we have today, and that people reach out to you. If you're watching it back and it wasn't live, still the contact information is on the tracker before. www.shantirefuge.com. Don't be shy. For the love of God, don't be shy. I've been talking to her. I've never met this woman before in my life. We've had a conversation like we're chums. We're gonna keep the contact.
We're chums.
She's invested. She's all in. And if people want to see you back, I want to have you back anyway. So I'm gonna do it anyway. But
I'm coming.
Yes, 100%. I do want to say what we're doing next week, though. Next Tuesday, I'm going to read out this lovely profile. And I say lovely because she calls herself Lovely Charity. Her name's Charity Chaffee, owner and founder of Raising Vibrance and Teens Uncharted. She's a teen therapist who supports parents of teens and therapists who work with teens through all the craziness that is teen related, obviously. Their journey to adulthood is her specialty. Whether it's education or mental health, she believes every teen should have access to the best support team. So she'll be with us next week at 6
Ooh.
p.m. PST, before anyone gets on the wrong time. I will schedule it. It'll be available on all channels. You'll see the notifications. Follow, like, subscribe, please, please, please. If you want to be alerted to the next show. As always, please go with grace. And if you've any questions, anything that you want to talk about in the next show, unscriptedproductionstudio@gmail.com, or text me 503-862-9972. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Shanti, you're amazing.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful evening, and we'll stay. I really enjoyed this conversation. Jemmy, thank you so much for participating. You made this show, Jemmy. You're the unsung hero. You really did. You got us going down roads, and the bumpier the better. You know what I'm saying? Good job. Good job. Awesome stuff. Thank you again, guys. We'll see you again next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. And go with grace.
Yes.